Today we're doing hamburger steaks and gravy, doing a little different this time. We're doing it like they used to do it back in the old days. First things first, we're gonna go ahead and beat 1 egg. So what I got here is I got 2 pounds of ground beef. Get it spread out a little bit. We'll go ahead and add our egg in. What I got here is 1 yellow onion and a cheese grater. We're gonna mince this onion down into this burger. It's pretty fine. It's almost like juicing an onion, I guess. We're gonna do about half. We'll save the other half for our gravy. Next, we're gonna put a little black pepper in there. Do as much or as little as you like. It's up to you. I like mine a little peppery. So now we're gonna put a little bit of this ranch powder in there, about that much. What I've done here is I've got about 10 or 12 saltine crackers. They're stale. The kids left them open, so that's good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bust them up into breadcrumbs. We're gonna dump those right in there. Next, we're gonna put a little bit of Lynn Pear on, about that much, probably about a tablespoon. 1 pack of the Lipton onion soup mix. All right, and then we're gonna put, well, I ain't gonna measure it. We're just gonna eyeball it. We're gonna put some salt in this hamburger meat too. We're gonna make some little small patties. I don't want no great big patties because of the way I'm cooking it over here in this Dutch oven. About big as the palm of your hand is what I'm gonna do here. So we're gonna turn this thing on medium-high heat to fry these burgers in. I'm gonna get a good crust on each side of them. I'm using the Dutch oven today. I like this one because it's got a lot of room in it and I can put a lot of patties down in here. So now that our Dutch oven's hot, we're just gonna go ahead and start laying these burgers down in the bottom. We're gonna do this in 2 batches. We can get about 5 or 6 in there. We got about 10 or 12 burgers. All right, so they've been running about 2 minutes. We're gonna, oh, look at that brown. Hopefully all of them look like that. Let them go a couple more minutes. So these have been going for a minute here. I'm gonna flip them back over so you can see what I'm looking for. Probably need to let them go on this side just a little longer because I like to cook it on that back side a little better. We're not cooking them all the way through. We're just trying to get the outside crust on them, get a good brown on the outside, and we'll finish cooking them in the gravy later. And we've got all these kibbles and bits on the bottom. All that'll incorporate into the gravy. So we're gonna turn this heat down. We're gonna turn it down to low or medium low. I'm gonna drop in the rest of my onion that I've sliced up here. I'm gonna go ahead and get these onions a little soft, caramelize them a little bit. You know, I got about 4 tablespoons of grease in there, and these onions are gonna soak some of it up. So before I add my flour, I'm gonna go ahead and see how much these onions soak up while they're cooking. So these onions have gotten soft. They're starting to turn a little translucent. I don't wanna cook them completely because they're gonna stay in that gravy. I'm gonna add in 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna see what 5 tablespoons does real quick. And I'll be able to tell once I stir it. I need 1 more. So that was 6 tablespoons of flour. You always want to let your flour cook for a minute. Just stir it around. Don't let it burn before we start adding liquid in. I got about 4 cups of water in my little measuring cup. I'm gonna put beef bouillon in this. It's gonna be granulated beef bouillon, or you could use the Better Than Beef bouillon or the cubes. I've got this kind right here. That's the one I like using. But for it to incorporate into my water, I need to heat the water up. So we're just gonna pop it in the microwave. We'll put it on about 3 minutes. So we're gonna put probably 3 tablespoons of this beef bouillon in here. We're gonna mix it really, really well. That way it's good and incorporated. We ain't got no lumps in it when we pour it in our gravy. So we got our flour running on low. We're gonna go ahead and just start pouring this in slowly. Now don't get scared if it don't thicken up automatically. It takes it a minute to heat back up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour about half of it in there and we're gonna see what it looks like. You just wanna move your spatula around, get that flour broke up and incorporated into that liquid as fast as you can. So I can tell she's starting to thicken fast. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of my liquid in here, and this will do the same. It'll thicken as it heats up. So I'm gonna let that go for just a minute and stirring occasionally, just checking to see where my thickness is at. My gravy is still a little loose, and I want it loose because I'm gonna put a lid on this. We're gonna let it set for a while. But I'm gonna add in a can of cream of mushroom soup. Just mix that around in there and get it all incorporated. We're gonna let that go for another minute. We're also gonna add a little bit of black pepper in this. We're gonna do a teaspoon to start out. Teaspoon of black pepper. We're gonna do a teaspoon of garlic in this, garlic powder. So we've been rolling for a couple minutes. Now's the time to taste for season where your gravy's at. All right, I can taste I got plenty of onion and garlic in there already. I do want to add a little more black pepper. Now, you can stop with the black pepper where I was at, but I like a good peppered gravy. So I'm gonna add another teaspoon of this black pepper in mine, and we're gonna leave it alone. So while we're letting that gravy go, we're gonna put a tab of butter right in the middle of it. That's probably about 2 tablespoons of butter. 2 tabs, whatever you want to call it. So my butter, I've already stirred it in. And if you see these little bubbles right here, that's as fast as I want that gravy cooking. A little pop every now and then around the thing. And it's gonna depend on the skillet you're cooking in, is what temperature you got yours on. I got mine on a medium to medium low, and it's staying at this. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my patties back in. Jacuzzi full of gravy. So I want all of them submerged as much as possible. So we're gonna put a lid on this dude. But one thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna check this about every 15 minutes and make sure my gravy is not getting too thick. If it is, I got a little emergency beef broth over here just to put in there to loosen it up and stir it back in. You may have to do that cooking it this long, but like I said, I'm gonna let this go for about an hour to hour and a half. So we've been going for about an hour. I've had the lid on this Dutch oven. Now, if you were cooking with an open skillet, you're gonna lose moisture, so you would probably need that reserve beef broth that we had over here on the side, and just stir it in gradually as your gravy gets thicker. You want to loosen it up a little bit, just keep stirring it in. But we've had a lid on ours, and look at that gravy. We're fixing to make a plate. We'll get one of these small meat patties. A little bit more of that gravy on them taters. Let's see what we got here. Look at that. That's the correct way to make hamburger steaks. Serve that over rice or potatoes. It's golden. Y'all make sure to follow and subscribe. We're on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Buck Junkies. Man, we got great recipes. We got a lot of content going on. Hey, y'all don't miss out on what we're doing here.